Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Alaka here for EPCreativeMedia, and I am back with a brand new video. But first, before we commence, I bring you the verse for the day. The verse for the day is from the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, the NIV version, and it says, "Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth." I actually love that because it's referring to us believers in Christ being firm in the word and not feeling the need to have to change scripture in order to appease other people. We have to stay true to what the word of God is, no matter what people say, because there's always going to be people who are going to disagree, who are going to hate it, but we have to stand firm in what it is that we believe in, which is the word of God, and believing that Jesus Christ died for our sins. With that said, let's go on with the video. The premise of this video was for me to actually show people how they can easily save builds and sims and households basically to their gallery without even having to open their game. Now, with that said, this particular option that I'm offering only works from a browser. Obviously there is a manual way that you can be able to do that, but this is basically the simple click option, especially if you are in like a Sims group or anything like that, and you come across someone who's shared a build that you really like and they offer their user ID, for instance, right? And you quickly just want to be able to save it because maybe you're in the middle of doing something. This is the easiest way to be able to go about doing this. And so as I've brought you here, I've brought you to my EA account on my browser, and I've actually already typed in my username and narrowed it down to the lot, that way to just save time. However, if it's your first time, literally just log in to your EA account. You have the option to log in, and when you log in, it will basically take you to, if you're standardly just going to EA, obviously, to take you to the home page, but you can just easily click on gallery and it will take you straight to the screen that you are seeing right now. And to find a particular creator, make sure obviously that you get the lettering correct, or the spelling, should I say, correct, of the actual creator you're looking for, and you can just type their creator name in here. But also you get to choose from the drop down menu the EA ID. So if you choose under item name or hashtag, you might not be able to find them. You have to make sure that you change to EA ID unless the person has mentioned to find their item under the hashtag or under that particular item name. Then feel free to go ahead, do that, and type the name in. You can basically filter the categories to households, lots, and rooms. And as I've said, mine has been narrowed down to lots because that's what we're talking about in this particular video. And then you can sort by downloads. By downloads basically means that how many downloads, the most downloaded one will be at the top, or you can organize it according to your favorites or the newest ones that you have actually uploaded. So you can do that, and this is how you can standardly reveal what it is that the particular creator has or that hashtag has, most downloads or the newest that have been downloaded, and then all time, or the ones that have just been uploaded in that week. The advanced option, basically, it's got the max is curated. I always uncheck that because it's extremely annoying, because if you tick max is curated, or if you find max is curated tick, you're hardly ever going to find the ones you're actually looking for, because it's maxes who've chosen the ones that are going to be showcased basically. And then go ahead and run the search, which is what I did here, and up popped up my builds. Now let's say, for example, I am just a visitor and I'm visiting and I want to download the Studio PLUMBOB pictures redecorated that I did, right? You click on it. When you click on it, you receive this kind of pop-up, and right there, as you can see, obviously it's giving me the option to follow. Obviously I cannot follow myself, so I'm not going to do that, but you have the option to go ahead and follow the person, and then next to it you can favorite it. That way, if you go back into your gallery in the game, you will have the option to be able to favorite their build. The next one is add to my download. When you click on add to my downloads, it will actually automatically download it for you to your gallery, because remember, the gallery basically works like it's in the cloud, so it will automatically be there, so much so that when you open your game, it will tell you that the build has actually been downloaded to your gallery. Hence, you won't even need to actually go in the gallery when you're in your game to actually start searching for that particular build for the first time, if that makes sense. All you have to do is go to your library section of your gallery and you will find it amongst your download. Obviously, this works slightly different if it's a build that has got custom content, because unfortunately the way this web gallery works, it does not show anything that's got custom content, which I think is a shame, you know. So every single build that you will see via the web gallery, you will only see the ones that have got no custom content attached to them or no custom content tag to them, because unfortunately there are some builds which are not custom content, but somehow sometimes the game has accidentally tagged them as having custom content, and therefore they never appear on the web gallery. They will only appear within the game gallery when you've ticked the option for display custom content. And so once you click on that download, that's pretty much it. The build is literally in your game and it's less fuss for you, I think, in my opinion. That's how I do it, especially if I want to remember something that I really want to try and add into my game. This is the best way, and I sometimes even add them to my favorites, and then I'm done. And that's pretty much you know, it with that one. But obviously, as you've seen on the title, I decided I'm just going to show you how to save builds, you know, to your gallery, but also just going through some of my builds, because as you all know, those who are on my channel who've been subscribed, who know me, I'm waiting to get a new computer, and once I get my new computer, obviously then I'm going to go back to being able to record my actual gameplay again. At the moment I'm not able to do that, and so unfortunately I am using my geriatric computer in the meantime, which allows me to still do certain things, but I cannot record The Sims 4, unfortunately. And so the next best thing is to just show you through imagery, screenshots, etc., that sort of thing. And so I wanted to just show you some of my builds, because whilst I've not been able to record my game, I have still been able to just about play my game, but also I have been able to build within my game, and I've been able to actually build with no CC as well as with CC. It takes a little longer than normal depending on how many packs I have activated and which packs, you know, I've got disabled, etc. If I'm doing just fully based game, it's a lot quicker. In vanilla, of course, it's a lot quicker because there's no mods active, there's nothing, there's no custom content. And with that said, I can still, because of the way I build, I do heavily rely on using Better Build By and UI cheats, as well as the tool mod, because it makes it a lot easier for me, and those don't get tagged as custom content when you upload things to the gallery. So the fortunate part is when I'm using those mods, including MC Command Center, by the way, it does not have an effect at all to the lagging in my game, which is amazing. So I've been able to actually do quite a lot of builds. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rather than downloads, because a lot of majority actually, maybe let me take that back, because obviously Studio PLUMBOB pictures, I created this one, it's a while ago now. Have we got the date? Does it show the date? It doesn't show I wish it showed all the features that it shows in game, like how many packs it actually uses and also the date it was uploaded. It does show you if you've re-uploaded someone else's build. For instance, like I've got a build that I renovated. Actually, I've got a few builds that I've renovated for other people and I've re-uploaded them with their permission, of course. There's one particular which I re-uploaded. It was part of a challenge. I renovated a dilapidated property, and it shows my username, but it also shows originally created by. And I think that's kind of cool, because I can't stand it when people re-upload other people's things and they don't really make it clear what are your reasons for re-uploading somebody else's build. Like, if you've got no real valid reason, you shouldn't do it. If you're trying to refer someone to go download that particular person's build, do not re-upload it on your profile. Just send them the username to that person and maybe mention the name of the build, and then that way they can go and download it, because that way at least, you know, that person can get the proper credit, if that makes sense, because not everybody that downloads from the gallery pays attention that the build might not have originally been by another person. I, for the most part, try to make it known that I renovated something that was not mine, if that makes sense, because I think that's very important, because there's no money to be made in the gallery. So I think just common courtesy goes a long way. I just thought I would give that little tidbit because I feel like it's important, because I've seen it done quite a lot, and I'm like, and some of them go, oh, sorry, not my build. I'm like, okay, why don't you just refer them to the actual original builder? Why are you reposting it as though it's your build? Because then the downloads come to you. No, there's just certain things like the line, you know, let's try not to cross it. So anyways, this one's quite a while ago. So interestingly enough, the Studio PLUMBOB pictures, I made it pack restricted. So it's basically just Get Famous and it's only Get Famous and base game. And I remember when I built this, I honestly was visualizing the Oscars and all that stuff, and what I prefer, you know, what I would have wanted to see when I first went to an award ceremony. Actually, what I'm talking about first, I have been to plenty award ceremonies, let me not lie, but like my idea of, you know, I would like my Sims to be able to experience something similar to what I have experienced basically in real life, to put it shortly. I even went as far as putting a helipad. I had to maximize a helicopter toy because there was no other at the time, and I think if I recall, I was not very good at accessing the debug items, because I think if I did, I might have been able to have found a better helicopter if the game has one. I can't fully recall, but yeah, this is what I ended up building. Unfortunately, I do not have screenshots of this, because I'm going to be going through some screenshots just to show people like a closer look of some of my builds, and you are free to go ahead and download them. The beauty about being I think someone who loves and enjoys building and even creating Sims is I love it when people use my stuff. You know, that's the whole point of sharing it in the gallery. Otherwise I wouldn't share them in the gallery in the first place. You know what I mean? The whole point is so that people can actually be able to use them and enjoy them. So that brings me joy when people actually download my stuff, because like I said, there's no money to be made in the gallery. It's just knowing that, okay, you know, I did something that people actually enjoy as well as I enjoyed actually creating and actually playing them. I'm not those builders who builds my stuff and does not use them. I use my stuff. I use my stuff. The Blue Velvet, I've actually got a speed build for this. It is a part speed build because of the simple fact that I was trying to do a live stream. It lagged like crazy, and so I ended up just on the part where I was actually changing my base game version of the build to one with packs. So I've got two versions of this particular build. Do I have pictures? I think I do, but I don't think I've included them in the screenshots I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a moment. Lacey's Bridal Boutique. This one is actually a recent build. It's not very old, maybe a month and a half old. I was having so much fun creating this because the beauty about this particular build and another one called Tux is that I wanted to create two separate, you know, builds. One for the bride, you know, when you're about to get married and the bride goes shopping and they sit down and they can have like a glass of champagne whilst they wait or whilst they're changing the different outfits. That's kind of like the vibe that I gave Lacey's Bridal Shop, and I called it Lacey's Bridal Boutique because one of my favorite Sims that I created, literally I've got like 3 or 4 versions of her, like literal versions. I've got 4, yeah, maybe 4. I think one of her versions, no, 1 or 2 of her versions, so maybe I've got 5. 1 or 2 of her versions is CC, and then the other 3 versions are no CC versions, and all 3 of them have got like different hairstyles. So basically they're all in different save files doing different things. But I use her quite a lot in a lot of my testing and things like that, and I just absolutely adore her. I even went as far as creating the CC version of her into a loading screen. That's how much I love her. So basically the idea was, you know, to have a beautiful parking spot, and it's this particular lot is actually the biggest one in the, you know, the retail district, and so I had to figure out what to do with all of that space. And so when you go into the boutique, it does feel very spacious. With that said, the CC version does not feel so spacious because of the simple fact that, again, this is pack restricted. I literally only maintained base game and get to work, and so that's literally all you had. The disappointing thing that I had when I was building this one is that I had to, when I was trying to set up the wedding dresses, I had so few options, and that was so aggy. I was just like, oh, this is so annoying, especially given the fact that the first build I actually did these in reverse. Normally sometimes I would have like a no CC of a build, and then I will go ahead and make it, you know, a no CC, and then I'll make it a CC build. But this one was actually a CC build first, and then I downgraded it into a no CC. And so the fact that I had to, you know, everything that I had placed that was CC was gone, and then I had to kind of make do with what was available to me. But still, I think it came out great. I'm quite happy with it. Because I did build the CC version using obviously my current computer, my gosh. And I think there's certain high poly items that I had it in the store which your Sims can actually buy. But when you have high poly stuff on a slow computer, whew, it will slow and lag your game to the point where it's so painful you feel like you're gonna throw away the screen. Like, that's literally how it felt when I was doing the CC version of this build. But I'm just glad I did get to finish it. But I have to get around to taking screenshots, because it gets so laggy that I get irritated and I just leave the game, you know. So that's Lace's Boutique, and then there is the Tux one as well, which is the men's boutique. So as you can see, okay, the reason why I have two of these, I think I forgot something that I needed to fix. And this happens to me quite a lot, and I think it's happened to quite a number of builders as well, where you upload something and then you're like, oh, and because the game normally tells you, do you want to override, and you click yes, but then it creates two versions of the same thing. You're thinking, but you said I'm overriding, why do I now have two versions of the same build? And that's why I have two versions of it. Now Tux, the original base of Tux was actually a build by somebody else, right? But as time went by, when I was using it, because I wanted to use it for a machinima, the original Tux, which was not even a Tux boutique, by the way. It was a whole different store, literally a completely different store. So the base of it was a build that someone else created that I liked, and at the time I was not really much of a builder. I just wanted to use the build for my own creative elements that surrounded my Sims, and I kind of left it dormant for a really long time. And then when I eventually got back to it, I revisited it to be able to create it into a TUXEDO store. I realized, I was like, okay, there's a lot of things that I don't want to include. And so what I ended up doing was I saved the rooms, because I liked the architectural structure, right? So I saved the rooms for the Tux, and then I built my foundation, everything from scratch. I recreated everything kind of very similar to the original build, but because there's certain elements I wanted to remove, I was struggling to basically adjust the original build, so I had to do it myself from scratch, if that makes sense. And so hence I ended up recreating Tux. And with Tux, basically similar to Lacey's bridal store or bridal boutique, it actually appears to have a lot of things, but in fact it actually doesn't. It's only because it's a smaller lot. It's a smaller lot, and it's got obviously more floors, right? It's got literally 3 floors. At the very top, you've got your staff room. I literally created a staff room and an office, and the CC version looks similar to this, but not quite fully, because I did change quite a lot of things. And again, like the Lace's Boutique, the CC version has got a whole lot of other things going on, where like the cars, you've got Lamborghinis, you've got, you know, Bentleys parked up front, and you've got like the actual designer brands on the front, you know, Gucci, etc., that sort of thing, including the items that are in the store for your Sims to actually purchase. So I was kind of happy with that one. So what I'm going to do is, rather than going through this, because you can hardly see anything, to be honest, when it comes to this, I just love being able to kind of give a little bit of a breakdown of some of the builds. And like I said, I've got quite a lot of builds. I've got quite a lot of builds, and this is just so I can, you know, show you guys that I actually have been doing a lot of building. Let me just check this is working. Okay, I've been doing quite a lot of building, like I said, but I'm also going to just showcase some of the builds that I've done before that I've not really been able to showcase in the manner that I would have loved to have showcased the time I did the videos. And so they are not in any particular order. So we're just going to be going with the flow. However, all the files are technically together in the sense that they're in batches of per build, right? So this is the University of Brichester. We've got a speed build for this, for some who've probably already seen it. Now, the reason why I like this screenshot is because it's showing you half and half. This is what the original build, the rooms looked like with Discover University. This is Drake Hall, by the way, the Brichester University itself. And this is the basically remade version that I created, and this is pretty much the similar fashion that I followed with all the other rooms, in the sense that I made them like almost like color coded. So this was the black and white room, where one side, you know, the person was more black, you know, I know that sounds great, more black, and the other one more white, but you get what I mean, monochromatic basically room. And then this actually showcases everything. This is a finished version of the whole build. As you can see, this was the red one, this was the common room, this is the common area, this is the purple room, this one is kind of like the peach and pink room, this one is the green and blue room, and the black and white room basically. And I actually added an additional floor, because when you first get the game, or you know, the base of Brichester, University of Brichester, or University, Discover University, Brichester University actually only has one floor, but I realized I could actually add another floor, so I went ahead and did that. So as you can see, we've got, this is the base floor that we've just been seeing, and there's another floor, and the other floor I basically added sections. If we're gonna get there we go. A laundry section, a little gym, literally is a very tiny narrow gym, but you've got a basketball section there, there's literally workout machines there, and there's a whole computer area here where people can literally do, you know, work on their work, you know, and I think a science area there with the robots, and these are the toilets. I did make one bathroom bigger than the other, but that's neither here nor there. It was not intentional, it just happened to be what it was, and I think I was working with the way the spacing was, so I had to kind of like, that was my workaround for it. But I did enjoy being able to create a whole laundry area, because they do come up here and they actually do the laundry, and they sit down and they have a cup of tea and stuff like that, and you actually see them coming out and taking the laundry out. So I really loved that I was actually able to do that. And as you can see, this is the other side of the laundry room. So we're looking on the other side, the machines are this side, this is the other side of the laundry room. As you can see, it's all laundry and sinks. I don't know, I decided to put a coffee machine in there because I figured, hey, this one is not pack restricted. I literally used a whole load of different packs in this, so if you download this one, expect that there's going to be a whole lot of packs, especially if you don't have all the packs. Like I have all the packs, so for some of my builds I do tend to use whatever it is that I need for the build, you know. When you are pack restricted, unfortunately you won't always have what you need for the build, so yeah, I go back and forth with that, where I pack restrict some and some I do not. Oh, this is a great view. This is a bird's eye view, perfect. And so as you can see, the machines are there, a sitting area, another sitting area here, all the sinks and everything, clothes. This is obviously when people have taken clothes out of the washing machine on behalf of someone, they just put it up there for someone else to come and collect. They've even got a chute here for trash, so the rubbish, should I say, they can, you know, throw the rubbish out there. And like I mentioned, the computer area, so you've literally got back-to-back computers there where people can actually do some work. These are research computers, so I thought I would add them to add that library feel about it. And then obviously the tech section there, and the little gym and the toilets. I'm gonna try and go through this as quickly as I possibly can. And this is another great bird's eye view. As you can see, I did renovate the bathrooms and toilets so that they were not unisex. I wanted to divide that, because in my mind, the way I visualize it, I feel like it's safer for women and men to have separate bathrooms, you know. So I went ahead and did that, where the boys have their own bathroom and the girls have their own bathroom, and they've just got a great common area. They've literally even got a keg somewhere, and I even put this. Can you see that there? That is the robot vacuum cleaner, because these university kids are actually very messy, like for real. They're very messy. There's a keg machine there, and here you can literally play beer pong, or I don't know what the Sims call it, their version of it, but it's technically beer pong. And then they've got their little kitchen area. Now, because of the way Discover University was created, they made it so that you cannot have stoves on campus, which was so weird. For someone who's in the UK, you can't have stoves in your dorm, you know, within your dorms and stuff like that. You have like a kitchen section where you can cook and stuff, and they didn't have that. So in order to actually have a cooking facility within your game, you actually have to use a mod. for that to be made possible. And I think Little Miss Sam has a mod that does that. Otherwise, instead, obviously the next best thing is just to put microwaves and to put little refrigerators around. But I just made it so that the, you know, the canteen, so to speak, looks a little bit more decent. You know, that's what I did with that. So sorry, I went a little bit too fast. And that's that with university. Now this build, as you can see, it's fully loaded custom content, okay? And I had so much fun, and I feel like I'm going to be saying this quite a lot. I had so much fun. I actually do have so much fun making my builds. It's fun, especially when you see it coming to life, where you're like, oh my gosh, yes, you've added this, you've changed this. Now this was inspired by a real life build. And the real life, not the landscaping. The landscaping, I can be quite ostentatious when it comes to my landscaping. I'll literally make a tiny build, and then I'll end up making this massive landscaping with a massive swimming pool for this teeny tiny house. I tend to do that. It is a habit of mine, and I'm not willing to stop it anytime soon because I just think it's great. This was actually based on someone's real life playhouse. So this was based on a child's playhouse. Now I don't know whose child it was or whatever. I just found it on the internet, and when I read the description, I found that it was actually someone had a whole playhouse, you know, dollhouse of sorts created for their child, which looked like a mini home basically. And I was like, I thought it looked cute, so I decided I'm gonna recreate it. So for the most part, I did recreate it. Hopefully whilst I'm editing this, I'll be able to actually show the actual original picture so you can see what I referenced. This was built in Del Sol Valley, in the lower Hollywood side of the world, I suppose, you know, where the up and coming celebrities live. But one thing I do like, I hate the fact that Del Sol Valley doesn't have enough lots, but I do like the fact that they do give you some sizable lots, and this lot is quite big, and to think that the one next to it here is even bigger, so I do like that about it. As you can see, I did end up literally adding like supercars on there. Let me go to the next screen. So I'm just going to browse through really quickly. I added like a jacuzzi. This, when I play tested it, unfortunately it didn't work. And so I haven't actually gone back to try and change this, to try and see if I can get it to actually work. Because I had this idea, because you can't really merge a jacuzzi with a swimming pool. And I was trying to come up with that kind of feel. As you can see, literally it's a whole playhouse with like a jungle gym type situation all connected. Hence you can see I was trying my best to make it look as close to the original one as I possibly can. Just going through this really quickly because I do try to take loads of screenshots whenever I build stuff, in case wherever, you know, it is I need to showcase it. As you can see, it's very cute inside. I actually added a doggy bathtub in there, so because the sim that I was using to playtest this has a dog, and so I thought rather than bathe the dog in the actual human bathtub, let the dog have its own bathtub, and there's a CC version of that, which is great. So that's the bathroom area, literally a little bed, so it's like a bed sit, it's like a studio, you know. The bed area, and it's kind of almost demarcated by the television, and you've got the chairs there, sofas should I say, and then the kitchen. And on the side here, because of the way the original build was, this is actually a sand pit. And fun fact, there is, I think depending on the packs that you have, and I think if you've got I want to say Sulani, but I know that's wrong because that's the name of the world. Island Living. If you've got Island Living, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's just Island Living that has this effect, but I know that if you've got Island Living, there's a particular terrain tool that's got sand that you can use that activates as you can create like a sand pit for your kids, and they can actually build sand castles within your own lot, which I think is such a cute thing to have. I do love that about it. And then kind of like a lounging area, so this kind of almost works like a conservatory because it's got glass all around it as well. As you can see more close up, you know, I love that this one I actually created it to have like this cute little rustic vibe about it. I'm hoping what I can do is, if I do get back to this build, what I would like to do is actually move the actual build to a smaller lot. That way I can upload it to the gallery and then just have it available to download from my upload to the gallery, but also have it available on my website for people to download, you know, with the CC and everything, links and everything. As you can see, it's a cute little cottage basically. How cute is that Dalmatian? But yeah, this is the build. As you can see, she's sitting there. Well, she was getting up, I think. And it was good that I was able to actually test it out even with the dog, because then I got to see how feasible it was to actually have her and the dog, you know, coexisting in this tiny little space. And they actually did all right. They actually did all right. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, this here, I think I made it so that the dog can sleep on there, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go on. Okay, so this is my next build. Now, this particular build, I've got 2 versions of this build. Again, absolutely enjoyed making this build. As you can see, I love doing landscaping and making sure that I get my landscaping right. But this particular one, I didn't want to fuss too much with landscaping. I wanted to make it look like one of those homes where it's completely clean. You know, they've got a lawn that's really clear and not too much going on. That's the idea for this particular build. As you can see, the whole thing just looks very tidy, right? Very neat. That was the idea behind this. And like I said, I've got 2 versions of this particular build. I've got a version that's got just 2 bedrooms, because it's a 2-bedroom maisonette. And I've got another one where it's got 1 adult bedroom and 1 kiddie bedroom. So you've got kind of like variety if you decide you want to use this build. So let me, is it? Oh, there we go. For some reason, okay, I've missed too many screenshots. As you can see, again, one of my favorite things that I like to do with a lot of my builds is that I like to have a rooftop entertainment something. I love a rooftop. I just like something going on the rooftop. I love something going on in the rooftop. In this particular one, I basically added the jacuzzi, a barbecue area, the easel there to do some painting. And this is actually a massage bed. It literally says massage, but it's just custom content version, and I kind of love the fact that it was kind of very on the nose with the word massage on it. And then a little sitting area, you know, for people to kind of chill, you know, whilst they're having fun. So this is kind of perfect if your sim is having a party. All you have to do is maybe bring a bar up here and they can have a full party, you know, because there's a stereo here. I think I placed, yeah, the one on the table, that's a stereo. So, you know, and they can actually just enjoy themselves without having to have the other sims mess around in the rest of the house, although they probably still will regardless. And when you look at the back of the house, as you can see, this is the version that's got the baby room. That's why you got the balloons. You can even see the little pink teddy bear through the window. And like I said, very clean. You know, the backyard has got little planters there for the gardening. It's got a little fire pit there where you sit on the, you know, loungers. A swing. It technically doesn't swing, but you know, one of those swing chairs, and then another table for them to sit and eat. There is a baby pool because it's got a baby room, so there's a baby pool. It's got a barbecue stand there because remember, we've already got a barbecue up here as well, but this is for people who are swimming down here at the back and actually having fun. You know, you get to come out here from through the lounge, basically the living room area. You can't come here any other way apart from if you are from the front area and you go around the sides to get in here. I think even this side you might have to go through the garage. I can't remember, but that's kind of how I designed it. Let me go to the next. It's a bird's eye view, obviously. I always do a bird's eye view of everything because obviously it gives you a better visualization of what it is that we're doing, right? So as you can see, like I mentioned, the baby room, and here literally it says couch again, pretty much on the nose, with naming the sofa, you know, or the love seat a couch. And I made it so that whoever downloads this build, when they have the baby for the first time, their baby can come here, the newborn, and then when their baby turns into an infant, they've actually got a place for the infant. And then obviously when the infant is growing, they can just get rid of that and change it to the toddler bed, and then obviously upgrade it as the child is growing. And then again, the good thing about the colors that I used, if your baby is a boy and you want, you know, or if you, as a matter of fact, even if it's not just wanting to change it to blue if it's a boy, but to any other color, it's easy to be able to do that using the duplicate, you know, the duplicate, tool. Just duplicate everything. Like, okay, duplicate for things like the walls in order to get the other color options. But as for other objects, you literally just use the swatch tool, and that's it. And you literally be able to instantly change the color to what it is that you want it to look like. I love the way I made the foyer. It's not technically the foyer, it's the landing almost. Mezzanine, almost kind of mezzanine area. It's actually got a computer here for someone to sit down and actually do some work, and then I've got some, you know, love seats there to just chill. It's very clean. There's a balcony section there and a balcony on the other side, and you can go to both sides, and there's chairs on both sides for your Sims to actually just sit and relax, because sometimes that actually does help their mood, believe it or not. And then we've got the main bedroom. The main bedroom, as you can see, has got like a, you know, little mini walk-in closet and a wardrobe and an ensuite, just like the kids' room. It's really nothing major, but I was really happy with the way this build came out. And then when you go downstairs in the foyer area, you're literally met with a bar, but I kind of love the way I wanted to utilize the space underneath the staircase. That's what it was. It felt too plain and just like vacant, and so I needed to do something, and I felt the next best thing was to just place a bar down there, and it worked out, because underneath the stairs I literally was able to put, like, you know, what Jack Daniels, Baileys, I think, you know, different basically bottles, you know, of alcohol to make it the bar look a little bit cuter. I loved being able to create this kitchen, because all, like, you know, octagon type shape, you know, everything was, it's not easy when you're having to use shapes like this when you're building, and so I did love that I was able to implement those elements to it. I even added the baby chair in the kitchen, and then you've got your living room even with the piano. So I did make space for your Sims to actually have things they can actually be able to you know, get creative with. I managed to put, like I said, the easel at the very top, and I was able to put a keyboard downstairs. So those are some of the creativity stuff. They can practice mixology using the bar there. So there's different things that they can actually be able to do. You've got almost like a breakfast nook-ish type area down here, you know, and then of course you've got the garage. And whenever I do make a garage, I'll be honest, I love being able to make it feel very garagey, if that makes sense, where, like, you know, no one's I don't know about you, but I've hardly ever seen a garage that's just perfectly plain, unless it's one of those massive garages you've got loads of cars. That's different. But in a normal standard household garage, there's all kinds of things. That's like, it becomes like the storage. It stores all kinds of things as well, and then there's just about enough space for you to park your car or cars in, right? So that's kind of the vibe I tend to go with when I make my garages. I love exposed brick for them because I kind of feel like it gives them that vibe. And with this one, I suppose I was smart enough to remember to put like those bars, which kind of make it look more realistic. And I put a little bicycle in there as well. I put bins on the side there, and this is for the summer when they're playing. They can like play with water balloons. This is what that actually does, the little red bucket. And I was even able to put a swing for the kids. So yeah, that's this build. And like I said, there's another version of it, and hopefully I'll be able to, I think I might have more pictures of it later down the slides. Now this build, I can't remember how long it took me, but I know that it took a minute for me to finish this build, but I was ecstatic when I was able to finish this build. Now, here's the thing with this build. When I first created this build, it was actually a commission. Someone, a fellow simmer who's an amazing machinima creator, by the name of Diva Sims, she wanted a gym to use for her machinima, right? And I said, sure, I'll make you one. And so I went ahead and made a big build. She was like, she literally was like, you always make really big builds. You know, I don't know what it is. Like, for some reason, I'm able to make small things, but when I'm trying to make something that I feel requires lots of different elements, I tend to, for some reason, end up making them really big. And so this, I think, goes on a 40 by 30 lot size. And it was, by the way, even if you're seeing it right now in NEWCREST, I think this is NEWCREST, I actually originally built this in MYSHUNO. So if you have City Living and you are looking at it from this angle, literally the gym in MYSHUNO, this is the actual entrance and this is the side of it. Hence it looking the way it is because I designed it directly in MYSHUNO. Now here's the thing. When I originally created this build, like I said, I had not placed it on here. There's certain elements I did not include, okay? And I'm gonna address that in a little bit. But as you can see, I made this gym amazing. The only thing that changed, I think, after the original build was the statues, because there was a period of time when the the mannequins went crazy. Any build that had a mannequin in it, if you tried to place it in your save file, it literally crashed the whole game. And I tried many times, and the solution they had at the time was to just remove your mannequins. And I was a little bit gutted because I had mannequins here wearing basically fitness outfits. That was the whole point, you know, of it. And so I had to kind of remove the mannequins and replace them with statues of sorts, which I was not too happy about. But now I can't be bothered to change it, because if I have to do that, especially in the current stage of my computer, I'd have to go in, put the mannequins in, turn the lot trade to a retail store, get a sim to purchase it, and then get that sim to dress those mannequins, and only then will I be able to upload it to the gallery or share it with anybody else, so that they will actually be able to have the mannequins with the workout, you know, gear, which is crazy. I have made some slight adjustments to this particular build since the first time. The adjustments, some of them you can see them now, but I later even added even more adjustments. Like here in the front, for instance, I've added benches. There's a bench there and there's a bench there. I didn't change much, to be honest, with just some slight tweaks that I thought, oh, maybe I missed this, and so I kind of went around to check, and it was the benches really mainly that I changed. Everything else is still the same. Downstairs, as you can see, we've got a parking lot. The entrance, the idea of why I made the entrance like this is supposed to create like a revolving door type vibe. And when people arrive in, you can see they've got like the reception area where people can kind of check in and stuff like that to make sure, you know, their membership and whatnot, but also they can purchase items. So obviously this is not a retail lot. I'm hoping if I can find a mod that can allow you to do a gym and also it be a retail lot, that would be so great, because then Sims can actually buy some of the items there, because the idea is they can purchase some of the sporty items that are around. And then I put drinks around. These drinks are actually functional, so your Sims can actually drink this. And I think if you've got Spa Day does tend to work well with drinks on community lots. I even have a few of my own little, you know, custom content within like these signs, because I noticed that the fire exit sign that came with the game only faces one direction, which doesn't make sense to me. So when I recreated it as a custom content, I made sure that it pointed on, you know, multiple directions. That's the idea. And then also they did not have, now they have the signs base game that point to toilets, etc. They never did that, by the way. They never had that before. So I went ahead and created my own. As you can see, this is my own creation to show where the toilets are, the direction of the toilets. But as you can see, you've got treadmills, you've got the boxing machines, you've got the, I think it's the stair master or something. I think these might be stairmasters. And then you've got the workout machines there, you've got some benches for people to sit. And then the way I designed the stairs, this is actually a custom content that you add on it, so it looks like escalators, and I wanted to give that vibe. There's actually a section to play a little bit basketball. You've got bikes there, you've got rowing machines, and then you've got climbing machines. And then this is kind of one of those zero gravity machines, so your sim can, it's functional, by the way. So majority, literally 96% of the machinery, the workout machines in here, are functional. That's what I wanted, hence I made the changes. From the original build, some of them were just like chairs that look like, you know, bicycles, but now everything is pretty much functional, save a few. I don't know why I wanted to do that. I think I forgot that. I think I thought I was in game. I was trying to go upstairs. And so now this is the part that changed immensely from the very first build that I made, which is I added, so first the original build had only the toilets, and the actual original San MYSHUNO had the toilets downstairs in the basement. And obviously I renovated the toilets and made them look this way. And then later on though, this was like this year, I think I did this, I added this section because I realized that, oh, wait a minute, I'm using Spa Day for this anyway, so let me expand and actually have a proper spa section. So I added like the sauna rooms there, and the massage sections there, and I gave it like this brown feature so that it kind of has that earthly, you know, earthy vibe. And then I also added like the inbuilt, you know, aquarium kind of thing, like water tanks, which looks so good. Fish tanks, sorry, by Sibule, which I think are absolutely amazing. Like Supul is an amazing creator. She really is. And so I kind of wanted to give it the earthy vibe. And then also I added like a cafe. Now here's the thing, because this is technically a gym, a lot of the gym functionalities will work. However, because I've got the cafe, which comes with get together, you're not likely to get a barista to come and work the machine. However, with mods like Little Miss Sam, you can actually place the lot challenge or lot trait that will allow for any venue that, obviously apart from it being that particular venue and having that venue functionality, if you place certain items that require like a bartender to come, etc., they will be there. So if I place that particular lot trait, a barista will come, and upstairs there's actually a bar section that I placed as well, so a bartender will actually come and actually serve in that place, which is why I love using mods, to be honest. It just makes my game that more fleshed out. So, and obviously you've got this great swimming pool for them to kind of go through, which is, you know, amazing. But as you can see, this is the whole build. Hopefully I've got some screenshots that will take us to that first floor. There we go. As you can see, there is an outside section for people to do their yoga and whatever, and then there's another section where it's basically, this one is more weights, so you've got all the weights, and yes, they are functional. Absolutely functional. That's what I love that. And then you've just got a little zen little corridor, so Sims can actually come and sit here and chill and chat and have a drink of water if they like, and obviously if they're feeling a little bit peckish or want to take a break and stuff like that, they can actually, there's like a cafe section similar to the one downstairs but slightly different in the sense that there's a whole bar here, but I set the lot trait so that it actually only offers non-alcoholic drinks, because we are working up, people. We're not trying to put on the pounds as we are losing them, you know what I mean? It makes no sense. And then we've got the section here that's actually got another sauna. So we've got the ones downstairs, and the reason why I wanted the ones downstairs as well is because of the simple fact that there's a swimming pool down there too. So I wanted to incorporate that together with the toilets and the bathrooms being there as well. Whereas up here you've got 2 jacuzzis and you've got 2 saunas, and in the middle you've got a massage section. That way, those people who maybe just want to do that stuff up here without needing to go all the way to the basement, they can go ahead and do that. When they finish, they can just go home. Okay. There you go. Let me see, same screenshot. So let's just go through this really quickly because it's a lot of screenshots. It's a lot of screenshots, but as you can see, it gives you a better view of how the whole pool area kind of works. Like, I do love detail. You know, I'm not a big fan of clutter. I don't like to clutter too much. However, I do like the right type of detail, if that makes sense. And like I mentioned, these are the climbing machines. These are the bars where you pull yourself up and stuff like that. That's functional as well. The stepping machines, that like this, literally there's 2 there, and bicycles, rowing machines. You know, yeah. Is there anything else that I have missed? As you can see the jacuzzi. There's literally a sim in the jacuzzi. Someone in this sauna. I think this one was spinning to take that towel off, I think. And as you can see, the massage, there's 2 massage, and you can see the massage therapist literally waiting, and you've got someone actually having a yoga lesson. I just love it. I love it. All right, now over to my next build. This build again is another build that I absolutely love. This build, what was it inspired by? I honestly cannot remember what inspired this build. I think I just started building and I had something in my mind of what I wanted the structure to kind of look like, and then in the end this is what I came up with. And again, very similar to the previous build where I have a very clean, you know, vibe about it, where I just wanted it to be very simple on the outside, not too much going on. As you can see, I literally just about managed to put some, you know, greenery at the back, but I didn't want too much of it because I liked the way the fencing was very clean. You've got some shrubs, you know, in the front there, and it's got roses within it, so I felt like that kind of added the color that I needed. But again, I didn't want it to have too much because it already looks very green. And for those who are wondering why my grass looks so good, because it does, it's because I use textures. So textures do take up a lot of size in your game. However, my gosh, they make your game look so chef's kiss. Like, they look so crisp. Like, everything, it's the texture just looks so much better, the walls, everything. Because I feel like when you don't have the textures mods in your game, the grass just looks smooth, or the grass looks smooth, and when you're trying to pick from which type of grass to use, it all almost looks the same. Whereas when you use textures, you can actually see the difference in all the items that you're using. So I kind of like that. It does have a touch of realism to it as well, but it depends on your play style. I am not opposed to realistic looking items within my game, hence being able to use Alpha CC as well as Maxis Match CC. I don't have an issue. I don't understand why people beef about that, because I think it's such a moot point to try and beef over people's preference in their game that they paid for, that they're paying for, if they still buy more packs. Does that make sense? Like, there should never be an issue with that. And so yeah, with this one, basically the idea, like I mentioned, I had an idea and I was like, yeah, I'll go with that. I wanted like a dining room that's right next to a living room. However, the living room, I wanted like a big glass door. So the door actually, obviously because of the way I put the walls, you can't see the doors, you know, the walls inside, but there's like a folding door that slides to the side that goes between the dining room and to the living room. And the dining room actually has a bar. I actually love using this bar. If you noticed, I used it in the other build as well, and with this particular build, it went with the aesthetic of what I was going for the entire dining room. And I've got in the foyer, there's like a little coffee table type situation with like a coats hanger section. You've got a little breakfast nook, because I like to create something of that sort. You've got a kitchen island, you know. I kind of just made it simple. I didn't do too much, to be honest, with the CC version of this build, okay, because I think I did slightly more with the no CC version of the build, and you will see what I mean. And there's even a guest like toilet downstairs. This is so people don't go and, oh, where's your toilet? And then they literally have to go upstairs where all the bedrooms are. Ugh, feels so intrusive. And I've got the little doggy bed right there, and obviously the doggy food, because again, I used the same sim that I used with the other with the other builds to play test this one. Yeah, my sims move around a lot. And I created my pond, you know, and this is after they introduced like being able to have tadpoles and all that stuff, which is so great, you know, because it does add that extra vibrance to your ponds in your builds, you know. There's actually an office kind of space literally behind the stairs in the living room, but I think I do have screenshots of that. As you can see, this screenshot actually takes you all the way to the top. Unfortunately, it skips a room. However, we are going to see the ones in the room in a second. This is the rooftop section. The rooftop section, obviously, it's all covered. But I love the way I made it in the sense that I've got the telescope there. You've got the jacuzzi. You've got the pool, which is all glass. So it kind of it's supposed to give the vibe of an infinity pool kind of situation, where if you are downstairs in the dining, the way I made the flooring, you can actually see the people who are swimming upstairs, which is so cool. And then obviously anyone walking as far, because this is double-story house, they can actually see people swimming through there, you know, which is, I think, is really cool. And this is the section where you hang out whilst you swim, where you can have a barbecue. There's a whole barbecue section here, sitting area. There's literally, this is a sink, you know, to wash your hands, etc. And this is actually a little game, and you can, I think, play with this ball as well, if I'm not mistaken. And or you can choose to sit here and just enjoy the view. And so this is the front. Like I said, I didn't want to do too much because I like the fact that you can see this floral stuff going on, and I felt it was sufficient because of the simple fact that also for the rooftop I made it like it's greenery as well. And so if you've got eco lifestyle, interestingly enough, the green type of roofing actually does help with preserving your electricity in your builds, by the way, just as an FYI. But as you can see in the garage, right, in front of the garage, obviously, you know, sometimes I have an open garage, sometimes I have a closed garage. In this particular section, I built it with a closed garage, and above the garage is actually a little mini flat. And this one is, if you've got for rent, it will be perfect for you to be living here, and then you rent this little section out. Another is if you, depending on your playthrough, you can literally have your child live there. Or if you are using the mod that's got live-in services, you can literally have them move in here, you know, because it's got its own toilet, bathroom, etc., everything. And so your you know, your maid or whatever can actually live there, and or your butler if you've got one of those, depending on obviously the pack that you have. Vintage Glamour is the one that comes with the butler. You can have them live there, and you know, that way they have their own privacy, and then they just come into the main house to do their job, basically. So that's kind of like a plus on that. Obviously this is another, it's a side view. Yeah, can you see the view? This is, I hate the fact that you can see the water is kind of blue there and literally it's just plain. But then again, water is transparent, if truth be told. Another bird's eye view. Let me go through. There you go. So you can see, you can sit there and eat or lounge over here. I even put the heater here because when it's cold and Sims are outdoors, this actually helps them feel warmer. And as you can see, you've got your barbecue area, and that's a fridge actually, and you know, some counters in case they're like whatever it is they're making, they've got somewhere to prepare it from. That's why I actually added that. Let me go to the next. Okay, so this is the first floor. The first floor, which you literally from downstairs you come up here and you can go either way. I love making staircases like this because they just feel so grand. So I made a cinema room with this one. As you can see, the cinema room is completely blocked off, like no light coming in, because that's the point, right, of a cinema room. It's got a bar where you can literally make drinks and stuff like that. And then you've got the 2 bedrooms, right? The master bedroom is this one, which has got literally a walk-in closet or walk-in wardrobe, depending on which country you're from. I say walk-in wardrobe because I am British. And you've literally got a hair rack. I love this. This is by Ebonics, by the way. I love being able to place that, like literally all the wigs there. So yes, it's been designed because I'm a woman. As a female in mind, you can always change that if you're a guy and bring in the Ebonics like rack of like trainers. She's literally got all these boxes of like Nikes and stuff like that. You can literally replace it with that if you're a guy. And then it's got obviously the, you know, the bathroom, this ensuite, and it's got a dressing table there. And then you've got the other room, the second bedroom. As you can see, the color schemes I kind of try to stick to very similar. This has got like browns and almost warm, right? Whereas this one is kind of like black, white, and touches of green. So I kind of wanted to maintain that almost monochromatic, but not fully. And so again, it's ensuite as well, and it's got literally a balcony. This one's got a cute little balcony. The master does not have a balcony. This one does. And it's got a little chair by the balcony as well. And chairs as well in there. It has got a TV. Yes, the TV is there. So basically the bed, you can see the pillows are this way. So when the sim sleeps, they sleep this way. And they can actually sit on this little sofa here and watch a television over there. This room does not have a walk-in wardrobe, so you can see the wardrobe space is literally just there. And you can also take a glimpse into the flat as well. The flat, as you can see, has got a bed, literally a sofa, TV, that's a fridge if I'm not mistaken, and that's a little kitchenette. And then their bathroom is right here where they've literally got a shower and a sink and the toilet in there. It works perfectly well. And when they are coming out of the building, they literally have to go through, there's like a little miniature foyer. So when people come up here, they don't go straight into the little flat, you know, little Bessie or whatever. They've just got a little mini corridor. I kind of love being able to like include little features like that in my builds, because I think it just, I don't know, I just love those features, because I feel like a lot of players who appreciate small features do appreciate stuff like that, you know. And as you can see, this is a bird's eye view of the entire area. Like I mentioned, you see the sliding folding door, so it kind of folds, slides open. You've got the foyer. Oh yeah, I almost forgot, you've got the office as well. There's an office section as well, so there's literally a computer. Sims can literally, and I play test all my stuff, and so I made sure that the Sims can actually get in, because we all know how fussy they are if something tiny is blocking their way. So I made sure, you know, to make the office very easy to be accessible, and the Sims actually use it quite a lot. And then there's another one there, that's literally a desk and a computer, and they can sit there and actually do some work. That way you don't have more than one computer fighting for it. And at the back, as you can see, I just put like a little basketball, you know, just to play a little basketball. Nothing else. I literally did not add much else. Is there anything else? Yeah, I love this build. Again, it's very simple, and I feel like it does the job. You know what I mean? I feel like it does the job. No fuss, right? No fuss at all. And I personally think it came out well. And they've got a Bentley, y'all. A Bentley. And obviously, you've got seasons. The decorations box is already out there, so you don't even have to worry about trying to get it out from build mode when the season, you know, whatever the occasion arrives, you know. I do tend to do that. So this build is actually fully base game, believe it or not. This is a fully base game build. And again, this is, I can't remember which one it is, but you know, it's one of the starter homes whenever you start your game for the first time, or start the save for the first time. This is one of the base game saves, and I basically just used a lot of debug items, something I didn't do because I do tend to playtest, like I mentioned, all my stuff, and I felt like I did. I can't fully remember. I don't know, maybe I was in a hurry, I can't remember, but I do remember that when I decided to eventually place it down so I can fully have my sim play with it, they were struggling to actually enter, like, because the car was blocking. So I did write a comment in the download for this to say that just remove the arch, and when I actually tested it out again, I think the day before yesterday, I noticed it was not really the whole arch I needed to get rid of. I just got rid of like that one there because for some reason it seems to block, and then the car, I just changed the car to a smaller one, and then I downsized it slightly, because that way, even if they're having trouble coming through here, they're able to still pass through, you know, to go through, if that makes sense. And so I enjoyed making this because I feel like it looks so much better, and I think it was reasonable in price if your sim wants to buy it, you know, as a starter home. Basically, you know, that 20 grand where you spend 15k on a new build, on a new house, and yet it's still lackluster, and this is your solution to that. Basically, that's the whole point of this build. As you can see, bird's eye view is always best. As you can see, it's a 2-bedroom. And instead of using rugs for like to create different versions, you know, to kind of multicolor whatever, I actually just tend to use the different tiling. You know, this is carpeting obviously that I used, but I just use it, and because using Control F, you can literally get it to do smaller, a rectangle, you know, triangle sorry shape as opposed to a full square. Then it allows you to actually create additional designs with your builds. That's how I get away with being able to do more on my flooring, because I use that quite a lot. And being base game, obviously you're limited, so I try to make the most of it, and I think it came out decently, with a whole kitchen, a nice little living room with a television, you know, 2 bedrooms like I said, 1 spare room, 1 main room, and then obviously you've got your shower and toilet there. You even got a car, you've got a little barbecue at the back with a little chair, you've got nice decent greenery and a nice fencing around it, because I love an enclosure, I love an enclosed space, and that's what I was able to achieve with this particular build. So I was quite happy with it, you know. And so yeah, moving right along, I know this almost seems similar, doesn't it, in terms of the color scheme. This build, there is a reference, I think, picture that I liked, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to pull off something like this. And so even if I was not able to duplicate the exact build that I came across, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of made it my own. Now, this is another build that's fully CC loaded. Okay, it's fully CC loaded, and I enjoyed every ounce of making this, and it uses multiple packs as well, by the way. It uses multiple packs, and that's how I was able to achieve what I was able to achieve in this particular build. This is a 2-bedroom. Again, you could call it a maisonette because the house, you know, it's 2-bedroom. Again, I did a garage, but this one I managed to put like 3 cars, 1 inside the garage and 2 outside. As you can see, this one, the garage is open. It's got a little mini swimming pool. It's got a whole section there where people can have a barbecue. And I made sure I enclosed this for the simple reason that when it's raining, things tend to break and it just affects the Sims negatively. So I figured, let me cover it, because then I can even put like an outdoor fridge to go with the rest of the stuff, you know, in case they're trying to make something. They don't have to go in the house to collect it from the fridge. They can literally just collect it from within. I love this is a little feature that comes with one of the packs. I can't remember, I think one of the garden packs, and I was able to kind of mix it up with some fountains so that it can look like it's got water pouring out of it. That was the idea of that. This is the back of it. As you can see, I put balconies at the bottom and at the top. The bottom balcony leads from the kitchen, you come out directly outside, whereas the top balcony is just for people who are in the 2 bedrooms to be able to come out and just enjoy the view. As you can see, it's not a very big house, but it's a cute little house. And again, with the garage, I did what I normally do, make it look like it's busy doing something. With this one, I actually added a laundry room. So this, yes, was inclusive of laundry day. So I added a laundry room so the Sims can can actually come and do their laundry, and there's a little mini toilet here. So when visitors come, they can actually use this toilet as opposed to coming upstairs to use our bathroom. And I added like a mini bar. This is literally a mini bar, this globe. And here there's a fireplace. Now, this particular fireplace that I use, for some reason, depending on the angle, it kind of disappears, but it's actually there. There's literal fireplace right there. And the living area, I kind of like the idea of adding some reds, you know, making it red and stuff like that. It's not really, I don't know if I've used red a lot inside my builds like that. On the outside, I don't have an issue, but I think I've never really used it to that extent. I tend to lean on the grays and the blues and the blacks and the whites, you know. Speaking of black and white, I pretty much did a monochrome kitchen, you know, with black countertops and everything, and it seems to have worked. You've got the little mini dining section there, and in between there, that's where it leads to the outside. Hopefully next we're gonna see, okay, it's because I wasn't fully zoomed out. There we go. Upstairs we've got your 2 bedrooms. You can see this is the master bedroom, and it's got the ensuite bathroom, and it's got almost like an open wardrobe section with like a vanity right in front of it. And then the other bedroom actually does not have an ensuite, but you can use this bathroom. It's a shared bathroom obviously, and it's a lot bigger, like with 2 sinks, kind of like a his and her sink, etc., that sort of thing. So I kind of like the way, kind of like, again, the colors were not too ostentatious. It kind of gave them almost earthly, warm feel about them. And that's that house. As you can see, from bird's eye view. Let me move right along. Okay, this is the back end. Oh, the back area of it, actually on this side, I've actually got a boxing. As you can see now, you can actually see the fireplace. On the other side, we couldn't see the fireplace, and it's literally supposed to be blocking that, but you could see it on the other picture. And so now you can actually see it clearly. There we go. There's a boxing thingy, whatever, and your sim can actually, it's functional. Sim can actually come out there and actually use it. They don't get blocked, they can't, you know, they don't stop or anything like that. This is another angle obviously for the bedrooms. This is the master bedroom, as you can see, and the other bedroom, it's got a vanity as well as a desk. They both have desks with computers in them, simply because there's no room downstairs to put desks with computers, so I thought I'll place them in each room for your sims to actually be able to use in their own rooms. And you can put the security so that only that sim that from that room can actually use that computer. And this is basically the mezzanine area. When you come up, you see lots of beautiful pictures. There's even a chair, an ottoman actually, I think, that you can sit here and just chill for a bit as well. And then obviously the bathroom, this is where you go. There we go. Okay, so this is the bridal boutique. Remember that I mentioned that earlier on, the bridal boutique, the CC version, you've got different types of cars. You can see we've got a Jeep here, and I think this might be a Ferrari. This might be a Jaguar, I think, or is that an Audi? I can't remember. And then another fancy car there. And as you can see, there is a slight difference in the sense that this one literally says bridal boutique. The other one had like similar stuff on it. So the outside of it, to a degree, still looks similar to the base game version, you know. But I don't know if this is the only picture, because I remember I did, like I mentioned earlier, I had trouble taking screenshots of the bridal boutique because it was lagging like crazy, so I left it. And so now we are on to another store. This is actually a department store that I enjoyed thoroughly creating, because I decided to name it the Eco-ish Swan Store, because of the simple reason that you see this logo here, it's got a swan. So that's why I named it the Eco-ish Swan Store, because it does have lots of solar panels and windmills, wind vines, or whatever you want to call them, and to help, you know, reduce the rates for the bills that come through at this shop. With that said, it's not fully eco, because it's still just, you know, has a lot of stuff within it that generates normal electricity. So with this one, actually, I've got 2 versions of it, in the sense that you know, hindsight is 20/20. When I went back to it and had a look at it, I said, oh, I need to fix this. So I actually fixed some things that I felt did not look as great as I wanted them to, or thought they were. So I went and fixed some things, like the front here. This was protruding a little bit, way too much. It just looked like it was not to code, and I think I didn't have enough columns as well. So I went ahead and added extra columns so that it looks more sturdy as a building. But what else did I change? I don't think I changed much else apart from that, to be honest. You know, I don't think I changed much else, but this gives you an idea. Like, I love this store because, like I said, it's a department store, and the idea of the department store reminds me of when I used to work at Selfridges & Co, and I know roughly what department stores looks like. This is actually the loft area, the rooftop basically, and where all the storage is. Basically, that's the idea. The idea is I wanted it to look a bit rustic and, you know, basically worn out, because honestly, if you've gone to a stockroom for this supermarket, even supermarkets and department stores, they're not very great looking areas because there's just so much that goes on there. They're not kept, you know, spick and span than the shop floors are basically. And as you can see, the shop floor, this side I think is where I have like all the shoes. This is the shoe department, and on the other side of the shoe department you've got the tech with all the robots, and they're actually, you can purchase them all. I put them all for sale. I can't remember what it is that I was not able to put for sale, but majority of these things, when your Sims walk in, they can actually purchase them. And then you've got your jewelry section. Like I said, this particular build I had to re-upload it because I made some tweaks, so there are 2 versions of it. One says remodeled or something like that, you know. One is just this the Eco Swan-ish store. That's it. That's how you know the difference. And this is obviously the clothing department. As you can see, I made sure I included like all the ages, where you've got the, you know, the adult and the children clothing, so your students can actually be able to buy that. And you can see part of the jewelry section on the back there. Back to the front, just to see what it looks like in the daylight. And in the basement I had like a parking lot, and as well as toilets, because in most cases when you have a parking lot, the toilets are not far away. So I decided to make, again, you know, toilets for that specific reason. When you come to this floor, this is the same one we just saw, jewelry and jewelry and clothing. And then on the first floor, I think it's the first floor, you've got the food hall. So there's literally a food hall. So this whole section here is a food hall where students can sit and eat, and these 2 rooms here are actually staff rooms, so no other sim is allowed entry in there unless they are staff. And then also that's where the ladder is that takes them all the way to the top, in order to obviously get more stock that's needed in the store. And up here, like I mentioned, you've got electronics on this side, you've got clothing, shoes, sorry, on that side. Again, a bird's eye view of the loft area. And yeah, these are just some pictures showing all the different sims as they're trying them stuff on, you know. I love this build. I really do. So, and yeah, so for that brings me to that one. And then we're about to go to the next one.
It brings me to the end of part 1 of me showcasing my builds via slideshows. I actually had to divide this recording into multiple parts because of the simple fact that the recording ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated, because I underestimated how many builds I actually had. And to think that I didn't even include all the builds. Not all the builds were included in the slideshow, but still the video ended up being extremely long. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Please do not forget to click on that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and of course leave your comments down below. I very much appreciate it. Make sure that you enjoy your day. Please be kind to one another. A little kindness goes a long way. You may never know that you might be saving a life just for simply being kind to another person. Otherwise, for myself, is take care and goodbye.